Raw Rebel Talk here, episode 198. What's your zodiac sign? Or is it, what's your zodiac sign? What's your zodiac sign? Anyways, so I meant to get on like the other day, like yesterday or something, when I had it fresh on my mind about all the symbols and my interpretations of them because I was sitting there thinking, like, I had a like one of those things, like a epiphany or something, of what my symbol really represents, right? Which is the water bearer. And I'm like, the water bearer brings water, but why does the water bearer bring water? To fill something. So I'm thinking, okay, so that's what we fill. We fill, people are made of water, so we fill other people up, probably because our cup is so overflowed. Like we're always full. We're like always full. Anyways, so I um I came to that conclusion, and then I wanted to definitely go through the rest of the zodiac signs, which I'll do in a little bit. But I just want to talk about some things, like, for instance, this post I just seen about Nepal overthrowing their government. I was like, oh wow, that's interesting. Like they really did it. And I'm like, I don't foresee that happening in this country. That's why, and I think the government doesn't see that happening either. That's why they're just so comfortable. Um, because they really just keep us so dumb. Like, real dumb and stupid. And the chance that we did have to overthrow this government was kind of ruined by the fact that those individuals that ran the Capitol, or yeah, ran the Capitol and fucking like did some dumb shit. I feel like that kind of ruined it for everybody else because they got reprimanded. And honestly, it's like if we actually did it, if we actually came together, like all of us in the United States came together and try to overthrow the government, correct? It would be, I think, I have bad feeling like we bomb our own country. Like, they're like, because the ones in power wouldn't want chaos. Like, they wouldn't. And it would be hell. It would be hell because we would have chaos. I mean, but Nepal did it. Nepal did it, and there was chaos, yes, but people came together. They came together afterwards. They voted for a new, I guess, president or dictator, whatever the hell goes on over there. Um, and then they ended up um, cleaning up the streets and cleaning up after themselves because there was peace. It was peaceful. Like they overthrew their government, and then they just said, you know what, we're gonna clean up because we got rid of the problem. And I'm just saying, like, it would be so. I think it's something definitely that United States needs to do, but there's no way we do it because of the simple fact that they dumb us down too much. They dumbed us down way too much. Like, you would think, that because you watch all the people on shows and all that stuff and they're really smart, you would think that's the majority. No, majority of the United States is really dumb. And yeah, That's, yeah, really dumb. And I think mad forgetful and sick. So, I don't know. And old, maybe. So it's really hard to think, like, oh, yeah, we can one day overthrow the government. I mean, I, I don't, I don't think that'd be something that we do, but I think it's something that we should do. I definitely agree to that we should take notes and try to overthrow our government. But hey, what am I but just a friendly friendly talk show host or whatever the fuck this is. Anyways, so let's see. The only other thing I wanted to talk about before I get to the zodiac signs was the Charlie Kirk thing. And honestly, there's your example right there that people are so dumb because the people in America are so dumb. Because look at this. They're the Charlie Kirk thing. Not only did from what I heard, because I'm not really looking into it, but from what I heard, he got shot in the neck, yes, on live TV or whatever, or, yeah, in a crowd in front of a crowd of people. And they thought, or at least the Republicans, or the rightists, I don't know, right or left, whatever, the right, I guess, the right thought it was a leftist who was black, and I guess they just started, like, HBCUs started getting threats. And I'm like, what does that have to do with, what does that have to do with freaking, um, sorry, sorry. What does that have to do with anything? Like, when you have no proof that who shot him, what does that have to do with anything? It confused the hell out of me, and I'm sure it confused a lot out of other people as why the HBCUs were getting a bunch of threats. HBCUs, which are majority black colleges or black only colleges or whatever, something like that. They were getting threats, and I'm like, so they closed them down, and it's like, what does that have to do with the Charlie Kirk shooting? But whatever, I digress. That's just how stupid you can tell America is. That's how dumb, because it made no sense for them to be getting threats. But whatever. Yeah, so um let me go down the line with zodiac symbols. Let me get my thing though. Hold on just a second. Alrighty, so let me see. I had it pulled up. All the symbols of the zodiac. All right. So, these were my interpretations. Nobody get offended because blah, 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 blah. But these were my interpretations of the zodiac signs. Starting with number 1, the ram, which is Aries. So, my interpretation, I'm just going based off of what the ram does, and that's what I think that Aries brings to the world. which is what does rams usually do? When you see or this picture of rams or you see rams in the wild, they're usually kind of peaceful, but they're territorial and they like to ram their heads into things or people or things or whatever when they get very upset. So, my interpretation of the Aries ram is that they bring they bring a lot of confrontation. Like they're one of the signs that brings a lot of confrontation or territorial, or they just pretty much just they're gonna headbutt you all the time. Like they're hard headed. So that's my interpretation of Aries. All right, the bull, pretty much the same exact thing. So, pretty much the same exact thing. The bull, which is going to be Taurus, they're like the same exact thing almost. They're going to be interpreted as hot headed and they bring the same thing. They're hard headed. They ram into people too. And, but they need, but the only difference is, according to them with Aries, they're like more of they have to be provoked. So you can provoke a Taurus and they get provoked into being like, I guess, hard headed or whatever. Anyways, Gemini, the twins. So this one's kind of fun. This one, and to me, is like twins, because obviously I have twins. So what twins brings to the world, the Gemini brings to the world, is basically two two sides of the story. That's why I get like two sides of the story. Not two-faced like most people say, but more like you can ask a Gemini one thing and they'll see two different perspectives all the time. Um I think that's what I think or I interpret of the twins of Gemini. Um as far as Cancer. So Cancer, the crab. Um what I get from Cancer being the crab is that crabs are like they're like okay, so for instance, crabs are like both a sea creature and a land creature, like both. They can be in the sea or they could be on land. So Cancer's like an in and out of this world type of character, but when they grab something, they never let go. So when they get a hold of you or hold of somebody that they really want and they hold on to that person, they never let them go. That's my interpretation of Cancer. And then Leo, the lion. All right, so Leo, the lion. I think that lions are obviously very, if we think about a lion, it doesn't say lioness. So unfortunately, I'm going based off of the lion. And Leo's, in my interpretation of Leo's, gives off that leader of the pack, but doesn't pull their own weight. Like they're the leader of the pack, but they don't do much. They take credit for everybody else's work. Um that's basically what I think that the lion represents as far as bringing to the world or whatever. Then Virgo, the virgin. So that one's pretty easy. Um and then if you can tell by the first couple, like all the first one, two, three, four, five. Yeah, the first five before Virgo are like mostly like very tough animals. So, in my interpretation, Virgo the Virgin is kind of like a symbolic of the most protected sign because it's virgin. It's the most innocent. It's that's why it's basically in the middle of the zodiac. It's the most innocent and one that, that needs to be protected. Virgins are innocent and they bring to the world basically innocence. So, for me, I think Virgos need to be protected. But that's just me. That's my interpretation of the Virgin. Um, Libras, balance. So, for Libras, they have balance or the scales. Um, Basically, that's pretty self-explanatory. The scales judge people. So, um, the scales are to judge. I think the scales bring either let you know exactly who you are, like weigh you out. So, um, like you give something to a Libra, Libra is gonna judge it, good or bad, like good or bad, and then let you know. So I think that's what a Libra is good for. Um, then the Scorpions, which is Scorpios. Scorpios are, I mean, based off what the off the symbol, the scorpion, I would say that it's very deadly sign out of pretty much all the other ones. It's the most deadly. Um, but I think it's more like a provocation. It's the same thing, kind of like the bull. It's very deadly, but you have to provoke it. So if you provoke a Scorpio, you can end up getting stung, like really bad, stung. And I think that um, that sting is poisonous, poisonous sting. So, like, for instance, if they, let's say you provoke a Scorpio, like you cheated on a Scorpio, they're going to do the same exact thing to you, but it's going to sting you, like it's going to hurt you way more than it hurt them. And it's going to cause like trauma and shit. I think that's what it is. Sagittarius, Archer. Okay, so Sagittarius, the Archer. So, as far as the Sagittarius Archer goes, or the Centaur, however you want to look at it, whichever sign, whatever symbol you want to look at. I'm going to talk about the Centaur. This says Archer, but I'm going to say Centaur because that's what most of the symbols look like or will represent of the Sagittarius. So, the Centaur of the the Centaur of Sagittarius, obviously half human, half man. So I think for this one, half human, half beast. I'm sorry, whatever. Half human, half beast. Um, for me, that interprets more so like they have they're well grounded to animals. Like they're pretty much more animal lovers, and they're archers. So they shoot and they hit their target pretty much. So, um, I think for Sagittarius, they're really good at uh, following through with things because that's usually what an archer is somebody who shoots and hits their target. So, um, so that's what I think. That's what I think is Sagittarius. This is the only one. The next one is the Capricorn, which is the goat. This is the only one that kind of like confused me a little bit, but I kind of think I know somewhat of what it might be. So, um, the goat is very cute, very cuddly, very not for nothing, but kind of like simple, like simple living, simple life. The goat doesn't really bother anybody. And then, so I think that for Capricorns, Capricorns are more like simple living. Like they simply live, they don't bother people, they just live their life. And then, um, what's it called? And then at the same exact time, they are goats. They are the goats, so the greatest of all time. They're just simply living, the greatest of all time. I don't know if that's like purposely or whatever, but whatever. And then there comes Aquarius, the water bearer. So that's me. Um, I'm a water bearer. And for me, this is how this whole thing started, is because I was just sitting thinking, or the thought popped in my mind, is water bearers. We bring the water and pour the water. So for me, since humans are made up of mostly water, I represent something that is full of water, pouring it into something else, pouring it into you. So we pour into empty cups. That's what I interpreted of the water bearer. And I know that one's really deep compared to everybody else's, but it is my sign and I'm very deep. This is another one that I thought, fish, for Pisces, the last one, the last on the zodiac sign. Fish, Pisces. So the symbol of fish for Pisces is kind of like the only one on this, minus Cancer, the only one on this that doesn't live on land, like as far as all the other, like out of all the other freaking um signs or symbols, the zodiac sign, the fish, doesn't live on land or isn't like in the same category as everything else. The only one it would come close to would be Cancer, like the crab. But even still, the crab doesn't even walk. The crab is mostly on land. So, anyways, Pisces, the fish, the reason I say I think the fish represents living in water or underwater. So, for Pisces, they are more like out of this world. That's what I think the fish represents. And they bring to us sustenance. Because what do? Usually you go and catch fish. When you catch them, they feed you, they give you sustenance, they provide a lot of good for you. Um, and what the saying is, if you teach a man to fish, he will, he'll live for longer. So it's like catching a fish is a good thing. Like catching a fish is a good thing. So I think that they live in a different world. Like they're not on the same world as us. They're outworldly. Yeah. Yeah, that's how I interpret it. Anyways, so those are my interpretations of the signs, symbols. I think that I know it's a little bit weird, but I think it's definitely like something to think about. Something to think about. I could be wrong. I'm not a, somebody who studies the freaking um studies zodiac signs or whatever. I know about the zodiac signs. I mean, I'm not an astrologist. I don't like study the stars and all that stuff. But all I know is that sorry. Anyways, all I know is that the symbols are there, and I think that they're there for a reason. So if you look into them, that's okay, Grizz. You can go back and look at this video once I post it. I think that the signs are there, or the symbols are there for a reason. So if you go back, if you just think about them, like, honestly, if you think about them, then you can, like, kind of get a better interpretation of why they're there. But I don't know. Either way. So what's up? What else is new? I think I think I I think I gave good interpretations. If you don't think so, then oh well. You come up with your own. Like I said, I'm not somebody who studies astrology. I don't, but I like zodiac signs. I think zodiac signs are really helpful because when it comes to learning about somebody, you can learn a lot from knowing what their sign is. It kind of does help, and most of the signs are kind of similar, but most people that have those signs show certain characteristics. Like I've met a lot of Scorpios. I've met a lot of Virgos. I've met a lot of, pretty much all of them. Pretty much all of them, yeah. Yeah. Well, Omar, you don't have to believe in it. You don't have to. I'm not saying you have to. I do, but you don't have to. Um, Either or. It's getting kind of late, so I think I'm going to get off. So I'm going to go. Have a good night, everybody. Spread love. Think for yourself. Live free. Mwah. Love you guys. Till next time, rebels. Till next time.